Hello, awakened beings. Here on this channel, I do tarot and oracle readings to support you along your spiritual journey. If that interests you, feel free to check out any other content on this channel, as well as interact with this video if you feel called to. Today's reading is for Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. What does your spiritual team want you to know right now? All right, Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising, let's go. Knight of Pentacles. Ooh, the Star card. Right away, it seems like you're headed in the right direction. But make sure that you're grounded in reality. So first things first, we have the Knight of Pentacles, which is somebody who is going towards a specific objective, goal, and we have the Star card. And so that tells me that this is something that you are aspiring to build, create, or, just whatever your goal is the Star is represented by the Star card. That's also 16, 17. That breaks down to the number 8. 8 is the number of hard work, dedication, crafting, continuation, right? So anyways, what I got right away is you're working towards something, and that's wonderful. That's great. Spirit says that you are on the right path. However, I do feel like it's very important for you to make sure that your actions are grounded in reality. Okay, so that you are literally thinking of and taking the action steps necessary that are rooted in grounding. Okay, so the Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles is a movement card, but they're grounded in earth. Okay, so they're not just doing something because they feel like it. They're not doing something because they are just I'm trying to go through the design. So basically, they're not impulsive. They're not thinking of great ideas and not acting on them. What the Pentacles is literally that earth element, that grounding, that steady movement, that dedication, that focus. Okay, now that's not to say that you're not doing those things, but what it is saying is if you do have something in mind, if you do have something on your heart, bring it into the earth realm. Okay, take actionable steps towards it that are grounded in that aren't impulsive, that you've actually that can be concrete. Okay, what else? Whoa. Okay, we got King of Pentacles and we got the Illumination card. Let me take a minute to understand. I feel like what your goal is bringing you towards is this energy of being more in charge. So honestly, this could be like some sort of promotion that you're looking forward to, or something that involves you being a leader. With this Illumination card, I just feel that it could have to do with if it's a promotion or some sort of leadership role in your life. I feel like it involves teaching. But there's this message about perfecting the craft or perfecting your skills. So continuing to work at your skills. So the Knight of Pentacles doesn't get to the King like on a whim. Like, remember I said you have the number 8 here on the board with the Star card broken down. So this is somebody who is working on their skills, practicing their skills to getting to a mastery leadership type of level, to where they're at king status. You know what I'm saying? And so I just feel like whatever you're working towards is going to take you developing more skills. Not to say that you don't have the appropriate skills for what you're going towards. It just means that it's going to benefit you to continuously practice them. So there is a quick message here of not listening to ego. Okay, not listening to ego, because sometimes ego can tell you that you're all that in a bag of chips. Like, okay, it's okay to think that, but there's also this level of humbleness in recognizing where you're actually at and what you actually can grow. You see what I'm saying? So like if you think you're perfect and all that in a bag of chips, you're already at king level, then you might start thinking that there's nothing you need to practice or nothing you need to do. But there's this message here of like, no, you're on the right path. Just, remain humble and continue to build and practice what you're doing. Okay? With this Knight of Swords at the back of the deck, I would say that it's going to be important for you to, I feel like this piggybacks on what I just said about being humble, because if you look at this guy, he's putting a sword up to this mouth that's open. So I would say that, this is where you would use your discernment, because there's some people that say criticism or opinions and stuff that aren't helpful. Those are things that you don't need to take in, right? But when it is something that can be helpful, it's important to remain open, okay? So this is with this card, with this message, I would say use your discernment when it comes to if you're receiving feedback or something from somebody. But this is also a message of your own mind. So if you are feeling like, for some of you Aries, I feel like you might think that that there's nothing else you need to do. And then for others of you, you might be on the opposite spectrum where you feel like there's a lot you need to do and you're feeling a little bit discouraged about that. So this is where we use the discernment. So with the Knight of Swords, there's a message for some of you that's coming through of remaining humble, remaining open. And then for others of you, there's a message of combating the voice inside your head that tells you that you're not doing enough, or that you don't have the right skills, or that you're not making any progress, okay? Because that's not true. So, yeah. Okay, what else we got? Yo, we got passion. Okay, and we got the orange here, which is giving like solar plexus. So this is, I feel like this message coming through of like, you don't have to be so concerned about being perfect or having all the skills and things like that. Yes, you can grow and develop them. That's, that's wonderful, but I wouldn't focus too much on being perfect or the mistakes that you're making or what you're lacking or anything like that, because this passion card is saying that, hey, do you love what you're working towards, what you're doing? Do you love it? How do you feel about it? If it lights you up, okay, then continue to do it. It doesn't need to, this is a message for somebody. It doesn't need to turn into some sort of a competition, okay? There are, like healthy competition. If that's something that motivates you and is going to help you with this, then I would say do that. But I feel like for others of you Aries, creating competition within your own self, it just seems like it can take your focus away from what you actually feel and why you're actually doing it, right? So when we're going towards something, it's really important to maintain our intention of why we want to do it in the first place. So I don't know, take that as it resonates. I'm going to give you this card here for advice. Let's get advice for Aries. Ooh, you got 2 cards and then 1 more card for advice. Whoa. Okay, no. Okay, y'all, the cards done flew all over the floor and hit my cat. There you go, baby. Okay, 1 more card for Aries. I would say, hold on, that was a message of slow and steady wins the race, Aries. Because look at this. Knight of Pentacles, remember? And then at the back of the deck, we have Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords can be very fast without, he can be fast without thinking about what he says before he says it, okay? So this is a message of slow and steady wins the race right now, okay? One more card for Aries. Okay. So let's see what you got. It says choice feeds fear. No, feeds fate. My bad. Sorry, guys. Choice feeds fate. Choice feeds fate. Okay. Let's see. Necromancy calls. For this, I feel like this has something to do with like your bloodline, your family. Okay, I don't know if you're working towards something because you want to provide for a household or have more than enough or take care of somebody else, or something like that. Or maybe it's something that runs in the family. You're wanting to pick up a torch but like do it differently. Maybe you want to set yourself apart from the way your family has done things before, right? And so that's why this could be really important to you, especially with the illumination card. So you could be somebody who maybe comes from a poor background, or who is like the first person to go to college, or, one of those big stories, where it's like you're the first person in your family to do something, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is what I'm getting off of this card. But I feel like, with this illumination, and this person here, they're doing magic. They are magical. They understand that the universe has gifts for them. You know what I'm saying? And so people who have more of a limited mindset or fear-based and things like that, they tend to stay a little bit more stuck. But with you and your reading, especially with this illumination card, I just feel like you're really trying to pave the way or open something up, okay? And do something different. Interesting. For somebody here, I feel like this is like for like one person perhaps, but I do feel like somebody here could be like a death doula. Okay, so that's somebody who is, I like to call it a transition guide. You'll see it in my channel page description. But I'm picking that up because you could be into working with people who, are elderly, who are sick, who are disabled, who need help, housing, stuff like that. So you could be somebody who's into helping people transform and transition out of their situations, right? Okay, so that could be something you're passionate about, because maybe you just maybe you understand what it's like, or you just have a big heart. Aries typically have pretty big hearts. I gotta tell you guys that. But yeah, okay, here's your last card. Positivity. If you can find even one thing to be grateful for, it will restore you to the light. Please, dear God, let me always feel gratitude for something, even a tiny thing, in even the hardest situations. Okay, so this right here is telling you to keep a positive mindset. Stop beating yourself up. Don't be too hard on yourself just because things are going slower than you want them to. Okay, it takes time to practice and develop skills, but you are on the right track. This was the very first thing that came out. You are on the right track. Just give yourself time, grace, and tune in a little bit more to that earth energy, okay? So that is your reading. Take care. Good luck.